It's me. Hi everyone, welcome to the show, or welcome to my bathtub. So today we're going to talk about social media. I also just kind of wanted to have a version of this podcast that was a little bit more unscripted and just kind of me and you chilling and yapping about a topic. And I get a lot of questions about social media, like what it's like, what people are doing. And I kind of think that a lot of people have the wrong idea of it. So I wanted to clear up some things. But before we get into it, let's see what the cards have to say for us today. Don't wait for luck to find you. Go out and make your own. That is so facts, you know? We talk about luck and manifesting and all that good stuff, but sometimes we got to remember you need to follow it up with actionable steps. Go out and make your own luck. Ooh, and then on the other side, this is weird. To lift yourself up, release what has been weighing you down. Get rid of that toxic ex. Okay, let's get into it, except for my microphone was off for the first 5 minutes, so I just gotta sum up some background information. So I've been dabbling in social media for 8 years now. Mostly it was a marketing tool as an artist and business owner. It's a visual resume, a really good asset. But my whole vibe has changed now that people refer to me as an influencer. It does feel weird for me because as much as media and entertainment has always been my world, digital entertainment is so different, you guys. Honestly, I never really expected social media to be my main gig in the sense of daily posting and inviting the world into your life. It has been an adjustment and a lot harder than I thought it would be. I will say though that anybody who kind of knows me would probably say that it makes a lot of sense. Looking back on my life, I kind of always had a knack and appreciation for this sort of thing. In my childhood, I always loved making video content and I was kind of a little bit past the social media age when I was in high school. Instagram was just starting to get really popular. And I always loved those times in schools where you would make a movie or whatever. I never thought it would be a full-time thing. I never really was oh, I want to spend every minute of my life filming myself and posting it on the internet. But the reason I started doing it full-time in my adult life was not by choice. Unfortunately, I got in a really bad accident and it ended my dance career. That's a whole other story. I've actually tried to film an episode talking about it, but it's very difficult for me to talk about. It's really not fun, and I'm still not the same person of it. It destroyed me mentally, physically, emotionally. I have permanent nerve damage and memory loss and constant fatigue, chronic migraines, all this really fun stuff that makes me a shell of the person that I used to be. So being a dancer and hustling all the time and running from job to job and auditioning constantly, I mean, it's a really tough world and I can't manage that anymore. So I do feel really grateful that I have social media to almost kind of fall back on a little bit. But it wasn't originally like that. It was a total fluke. After my accident, I didn't work for 2 years. I was not well. So what had happened was my agent sends me an email one day. He's like, hey, CBC is looking for a content creator for this job. It sounds like something you would do. Are you down? I was really excited about the prospect of this job because I didn't really have a huge brand of my own at the time. I mean, I had my niche artist kind of mentorship brand and I was making content and I was definitely having fun with social media, but I was actually working on other brands at the time. So I guess I was kind of dabbling in social media, but I was excited about this job mostly because it's a government job, stability, slay. I still get to be an artist. That is a dream. I was really pumped when I landed the job. My coworkers were awesome and it was so much fun at first. Truly, I have nothing but good things to say about Street Sense. You gotta go follow it. It has amazing financial literacy advice. It's financial literacy stuff for teens. It was basically kind of a kid's show. We also had a Sunday morning 7 a.m. segment. I definitely found my groove as a content creator in some ways, but I also think it made me a lot worse because it wasn't a real content creator job. This was a government job. So the rules and regulations were very different. I was a solid professional. I had been through negotiations and big meetings, but corporations are very different. You don't approach them the same way, especially government funded. It's a whole different array of rules. After about a year of working there, I started to feel very confused about my role because my expertise at that time, it was TV and film, and it's a whole different world from social media. It's literally not even in the same realm. The only thing that's similar is that you're entertaining people. I do think we should start to bridge the gap between traditional and digital media, but that has not happened yet. And so I can't deny that I feel very out of place in this world. I'm not quite I don't get content creators because I don't want to sound rude or shitty when I say this, but they are people working in a new field of entertainment. And I am an entertainer working in a new field of entertainment. And so I'm having trouble sometimes relating with the fact that I'm working with everyday people. And that's been like a really cool experience for me because I'm starting to shed my like hosting persona. It's hard for me to get rid of that because I'm a professional, you know? This is what I do. My job is to make people happy and have them be entertained. But social media is like so much more than that. It's about like showing your true self and like opening up the world to your like life and posting about your fears and traumas and like telling stories. Okay, obviously social media is incredibly fake, but it's like supposed to be a place where you share your real life. So I feel like a lot of times subconsciously we perceive it as that. And I struggle to relate with like actual influencers, like the people you know and love that do this like through and through, because I just find that they approach making content in like a totally different way than I do. I mean, in cinema, you spend like a year minimum perfecting your movies and shit before it goes out to the public. Scripts go through like hundreds of hands before they're like confirmed. Like there's like hundreds of different shots. It's such a large process and everything takes so much time and it's all like about the little things. But digital creators just post random shit all the time. And that's like the fun of it. Those are always the videos you love the most because they're the most real, they're the most like honest, or at least they kind of seem that way because there just seems to be like a lot less thought put into it. And it just feels so much more like personable. You feel like you're watching a friend. It's just, I love that part about social media. And content creators like really lean into that. But if you add even like a tiny little entertainment tactic, all of a sudden it appears way more curated and people start to feel way more comfortable roasting the absolute shit out of you because they just have higher standards and higher judgments and like more accountability because to them, this is like a real person who needs to be told. At least on TV, I have the filter. Everybody knows it's not real. It's TV. It's Hollywood, babe. But on social media, no matter what I say or do, people think it's real. And yes, I am a pretty genuine person. I'm not really like, even my like hosting persona that I'm talking about, like it's a real version of me. It's like the version of me at a party with my friends. But I'm not like that all the time. There's like, I'm a multifaceted person. I'm certainly not like that every day, which is how much I'm expected to post on these damn interwebs. And Street Sense was kind of like a little baby step into this world because I was acting on Street Sense, like straight up. I was given scripts. I didn't even write them half the time. At the beginning, it was more me. Towards the end, it was less and less me. Don't ask me why, okay? Well, actually, sure, you can ask me why. Here's the thing about working with ADHD. The things that are really quirky and awesome at the start, if they're not nurtured and appreciated and encouraged and challenged, they will just go away. And ADHD people who don't use their ADHD qualities are lazy and not very good. They burn out, they're inefficient. Because they're like, you know, they stop working. I was trying to be blunt, but that came across like kind of mean. ADHD people are not lazy. I have super severe ADHD. And when my brain works, I'm telling you, I am a force to be reckoned with. Nobody can get shit done like I can. However, the minute I get shamed or like told to do less, my brain just stops working. I'm honestly just not the same person. I don't have the ability to perform really simple tasks, and it makes me appear like very unmotivated, kind of high strung, pretty disorganized, and just like all around not a great employee. That is just the truth for me. It's not the truth for everybody. And there are amazing ways to like deal with this. There's medication and coping skills and strategies. It is not at the fault of an ADHD person. It is literally chemical. Listen, I loved that company and I would have stayed with them for years and years and years. I love Mercedes and Creo, just so that's very clear. But I actually just had to leave because, well, I was getting priced out of my apartment in Toronto and I offered to continue working like from different cities across Canada. And they said it would be bad for the brand. So I had to leave, unfortunately. And it ended up being really good for me because I realized how I was actually quite unwell. You know, 2 years of not working and then going to this job. I thought that I was ready. I thought that I was ready to go back to work, but honestly, I couldn't handle it. I needed a lot more maybe support, and maybe I didn't know how to like advocate for that for myself. Listen, I've worked in entertainment since I was 17, okay? That was my first like big girl fucking corporation government freaking job thing. I'm sorry. I'm an artist. So I quit and went on my own and started posting my own things. It's been fun, but like a little bit weird because now this is me being like a content creator. This is like, I'm not working with a team. There's no funding. This is me doing me. And I feel so privileged and lucky that I can come home. I have a home to come, like my parent, oh my God. Honestly, you wouldn't be even watching this podcast if it wasn't for my parents. So give a shout out to Mama and Papa J. I am incredibly lucky to have this home to heal and to make content because I'm almost 30 and restarting my career has been like very humbling. Not to toot my own horn, but like I had a successful entertainment career. Like things were going well for me and I loved it also. That's the really annoying part. I loved my job. Sure, I was a little bit mentally ill, I'll give you that, but I was like on the frickin' and I still am. I'm so glad to still be working in entertainment to some degree, but man, oh man, do I feel like a fish out of water. I think I'm like starting to find my voice on social media. It's hard at first. I don't know what to share and what not to share. I care a lot about, like privacy also. And like, even things like social media people don't care about asking other people to be in their videos, right? But like for me, I come from film and entertainment and I'm like, you need to be paid for your time. I can't just like ask you to come in a social media video. Like there needs to be like a union member and like we need to get forms signed and like it's hard for me to like let go of that tick of mine and try to be like a little bit more chill about it. Making my own brand, like doing this all so late in life, or like not late in life, I'm fucking 28, but like just doing this from my parents' basement, okay? After living on my own for like a decade. It has been so healing and humbling, and it's hard to be an artist because one of the hardest things for me actually is that all your growth, your professional growth is like public. So for you guys, like your work mistakes and the things that you like maybe don't do so great at work, or you've had a bad day at work, okay? You've made a mistake. Yours isn't blasted on the internet, okay? For everyone to see. That is difficult. But you know what? I'm just getting over it because I'm a work in progress. And at the end of the day, I honestly like just kind of don't care anymore. I've already gotten a hate video made about me. That was super fun. This guy like posted a side hustle and it was like not real, and I debunked it and he was very upset. He said I had a nasally voice and sounded like a squirrel. Men get so emotional, don't they? I think that's been actually just really awesome about doing this is like realizing how much I loved like fashion and like just art, like having a new avenue to express my art. I really had no idea that fashion, I didn't really like nurture that part of myself, and I posted a video like styling a thneed and it like got 6 million views and people just like loved it. And then after that, I got like invited to New York Fashion Week, and it, like, how cool is that? It's just so random. I didn't know. And that was like a huge inspiration for me, like creating all of these looks for the podcast. So like, look at where it's all led me. I mean, I'm just so proud of myself, to be honest. Whenever I tell people I do social media, I can't like say all of this, say all of the backstory. So people are always like, wow, that is so cool. And I'm just like, I think it's cool. I love social media. Just to be clear, I think it's like an amazing form of media, and it's so accessible and it has so many opportunities to it. There's just so much good about it. It's so quick to get information, but we have a major like missing piece or multiple. For one, media literacy is not growing as fast as media is. Like I will see a video on the internet that is so blatantly fake, and then there's like thousands of comments of people being like, what? That's so crazy. And you're like, are you kidding? You guys actually like that kind of stuff, I think is really problematic. Street sense might not have made me a better content creator, but it certainly made me a better researcher and journalist. And I'm a little bit more careful with like the things that I say. And I also still make mistakes, but like fact checking is really important. When you're watching content, you got to make sure like sources are credible, even when you're listening to me, like just because I sound trustworthy doesn't mean that I'm like the knower of everything. You have to like do your own research and like find out things for yourself. I do believe that I have a responsibility online. A lot of people say that like artists, celebrities, they're not responsible for your children or like whatever. But I disagree. I think every job comes with responsibilities. And one of the responsibilities of being a public figure is sharing either important information, things about public safety, like not lying, and maybe not being like a complete tool. And I don't know, just like trying to make a good humble difference in the world. Like, I don't know. I just think there's a few basic responsibilities. I have a very influential power, okay? I don't love the word influencer, but it is incredibly accurate. I'm sitting here on the internet telling people like all these things, and we soak it up. So I do have an ability to sway you, and you have to be aware of that as a user, as a consumer. Like, that just is what it is. So I think I have a responsibility to make sure that I'm, sharing important things. And sharing at least a balanced perspective, unless it's like hateful. Because if it's hateful, I think you should just go away. I also don't have any room for stupidity, because if there's like arguments that are based in like no fact and they're just silly and they don't have any like research behind them, and also you don't even have an open mind about it, you just want to be mad and you're just like, you're totally like, there's no point arguing with people like that. I don't believe in being passive. I do think that celebrities and people with a public platform have a responsibility to speak up. But I also don't think that it needs to be all on them. There's the balance. They can also take a brand deal once in a while. Standing in front of a camera and talking to yourself all day and then editing yourself and trying on pretty clothes and putting on makeup and just talking to the freaking internet. I know it sounds like a lot of fun. Me personally, I'm sorry. I am so sick of my face. I don't know how you guys aren't. Like literally, I cannot spend that much time looking at myself and editing myself and making jokes and then posting it for people. It's hard to spend that much time with yourself, okay? You know when you get like really lost in your own head, okay? Imagine if that was your job. That content creator that like you think their life is so glamorous and like cool. It's just not. It's not. It's probably a little miserable and they're probably like anxious and have like self-esteem issues.
Okay, yeah, obviously when it comes to money, boohoo, cry into your millions. I get it. Money certainly solves most of your problems, but you cannot buy good mental health.
It is a great industry to be in. It's a great way to make money. It's a long grind. You got to be committed to the process, but I would encourage anybody who thinks they have a talent for it to jump into it, because we think that people who do content, we always think they're so cringy, but isn't it like really scary? Like, would you do it? Would you just post a video of yourself talking online? Probably not. It's like a very brave and like resilient, cool, like badass thing to do. Don't let anybody make you feel cringy for like posting stuff on the internet, okay? Sometimes you're gonna post some flops. That's part of the gig. I post lots of flops. Some of my videos are terrible. Like, whatever. You actually can make like a really big impact with social media. Like no matter how big or how small your page is, there's not really a feeling in the world that can kind of describe what it's like when somebody tells you that you've made an impact with something that you said on the internet. I mean, it's a really special feeling, and it means a lot to me that I get the opportunity to do that. It's not lost on me like what a privilege it is. I just wanted to like, show you like the full scope of it. I never want you to feel like you're less than somebody who works on social media, because the reactions I get sometimes are like so weird. They're like, oh, what? I think your corporate job is really cool. Look at me. I literally could not survive in a corporate job for more than a year. You're doing better than me, honey, okay? And that is very badass. So yeah. That's not what we're going to talk about today. Thanks for having a bath with me. This was kind of fun. I appreciate you opening your mind up with me today. And don't forget to be kind to yourself and to others. Okay? And comment nice things on social media. Love you. Bye.